All right, we are going live on YouTube tonight for episode 79 of the On the Hunt podcast. Joining me once again is my brother and the number one Lions fan, Mr. Bobby Bless. Bobby, I got to check a couple things, my friend. So while I'm doing that, I'll have you carry this for just a moment. Tell people how you've been because we haven't talked to the folks in about 2 weeks. And just give me about like 3 minutes, okay? That way I can check everything, okay?
Yeah, brother, no problem. Me personally, I've been well. Usually, my things that's going on in my life coincides with the Lions winning. So as they've been winning, I've been pretty okay. Working at Walmart is we're approaching the holiday seasons and fall and all these different holidays every month. So I've been busy with crossovers from season to season at work, but shoot, as long as the Lions winning, that pretty much goes that way. You know what I mean? I've been learning a lot about policies today in several different areas of the world, as far as work, football, and other things. But it's all good when the Lions winning. We first place in the North. We first place in the NFC. I think. Well, how would I say it? I think Lions fans are at an all time high when it comes to optimism. You know what I mean? So I like that. We got some other stuff I don't want to really get into because we're going to talk about that on the show. So I don't want to get into it too much, but we're going to be uh talk about Lions current events, negative, positive. But I'm just excited that the season is going better than I expected. To be honest, if you would have told me that we'll be 5-1 and first place in the North, I wouldn't say I'd be surprised, but I ain't gonna say I'm gonna be mad, So that's always good. Like to hear before I like the good thing about having brothers on a podcast, I get to see different sides of an angle or opinion or a topic before I just sheds my light on it because Elijah might say something I need to take heed to, and same with Reggie, and same with Nate. But just being in the pod, like just before the podcast, I would have just posted my hot take, and it is what it is. Argue with your mama, you feel me? But now, you know what I mean. Now I'm more of a shut up, Elijah.
That's funny as hell. Argue with
Yeah,
your mama.
yeah, but before the On the Hunt podcast, I used to post my little thoughts, argue with your mama. Don't come in my comment section, but just as you know, getting older and wiser, I'm gonna have an open ear before I comment, and I've come to don't run to judgment or don't run with the with the torches and pitchforks yet. You got to see what the hell going on, kind of thing. And oh yeah, we didn't even talk about this. Our kicker come through. Remember, I wanted him today. He was kicking for the Panthers, right? I said,
Yeah.
why is the best kicker in the state on the semi-pro team? Couldn't understand that. State of Michigan, so it's good to see that we got the guy that I asked for. And it's good to see him actually make clutch kicks. That was pretty interesting. Did you catch on the broadcast feed, Greg Olsen, he gonna say, do they, when we were down in it to set up the field goals, did you catch him say, do they know they're losing? Like, dude, you ain't never seen that before though. Like,
I
people
did
rather.
not, I did not catch that. I did not catch that. I was
Yeah,
just
I caught that. I
I was
caught that.
I was nervous for the kick. I'm gonna be honest with you.
I was too.
I
I
was a little
was
bit
too.
nervous because I'm looking at it, okay, and I'm just posting to Instagram here, and then we'll be all
But
set,
yeah,
my friend.
take your time, brother. Take your time.
But like I said, I was watching the kick, and I kept going in my head. I'm like, did we have to settle for a field goal because we were driving the field, and then we just started taking knees, and I'm like, oh man, if he don't kick it through them uprights, Dan Campbell ain't gonna hear the end of it because he could have went for the touchdown instead of settling for the field goal.
And he never kicking again. He'll never kick again.
He'll
I'm
never
glad he
kick
made it.
again. And
Oh.
luckily, that wasn't a problem. because Jake Bates, the guy that you were on before everybody else was, I got to give you credit on that. He came through. He came through for the Lions in a huge moment. And what a great story he is, too.
Yeah, I love how he said it too.
18
I love his
months
press
ago,
conference.
18 months ago, this guy was seriously considering not playing football anymore. He thought it was done. And then all of a sudden, he gets the opportunity to, kick for the Lions. Actually, I should say kick for the Panthers, then comes over to kick for the Lions. And, it's been a beautiful situation. Although I do hate it when those announcers start talking about, oh, he hasn't missed a kick and all this. I'm like, please stop. Lord, please stop.
The jinx, right?
Yeah. But, Bobby, as far as the other players you were impressed with in Minnesota, give me some of those guys here while I'm working on this.
Okay, but before we go to that, I got one more thing to say. Jake Bates, when he was talking, he said something that like stuck right to me when it was the most realest thing I've seen or heard in a long time. He said, I know you probably remember this too. He said, I want to thank the Lord for the doors he opened and the doors he closed because it got me to where I'm at today. A lot of times, people, when negative stuff happens, the last thing you can think about is, last thing you want to hear is God closed his door to help you. This negativity helps you. But believe it or not, the good decisions, the bad decisions, the good things, and the bad things that happen to you got you to where you at in this spot today. So a lot of times, if the door gets closed in your face, it wasn't God's option for you. There is something better for you. So I love that he said that because he's on top of the world right now, but he's still humble enough to know that them doors that closed in his face was part of the reason why he's here now. So so just because something negative happened, you don't understand it at the time. Hindsight is what they say 2020.
Mm-hmm.
You might figure out that God closed that door to force you to go into the right direction he wanted you to go. And that's just far as faith. You know what I mean? Faith is very strong. And if you got faith, if you are in tune with your faith, it would be the reason why you get to the next level and able to handle what the blessings God gonna bestow upon you because you putting that negativity in your back pocket. It callous you. It callous your hands. It callous your brain. It callous your thinking. It lets you know, even though I got this little negativity right now, it might not be that what I want and what you want and what God want ain't always coincided. But you got to be humble and you got to be ready for your blessing either way. And you got to take notes on the good ones and the bad ones. And I just love the fact that Jake Bates, even though he's happy now, he still remembers the negativity, and that's going to help him stay humble to get to this next level of prosperity. So,
For
hate to
sure.
sound like a preacher, but I love that.
Oh man, I love it. That's why I was just sitting over here waiting on my turn because you were doing a great job just now. So I do want to get to one of our comments that came in on YouTube Live. Thank you, by the way, for the comments. We appreciate it. Please keep leaving those comments. That helps the show grow. Remember to like this video and hit that subscribe button if you have not already. We're close to 700 subscribers. We're at 690 right now. And the question that came through is from Eric. Eric says, go Lions all day, every day. It's Detroit versus everybody. By the way, that's the appropriate way to start a question. I just want everyone to know that. But here's what his actual question is. What do you guys think about Matthew Stafford coming back to the NFC North to take on the Minnesota Vikings?
I did. No, to play for the Vikings, I heard. That's what he meant.
He's to play for the Vikings.
That's what he said, but he probably just made a mistake. But that's what he was referring to. There's the article out by one of these clowns that write articles for a living. Oh, this is my guy Eric. You remember we did an interview?
Yeah.
On him. Yeah, that's Eric. He tuning in. He must just got off of work.
Okay, so let me answer it. I guess.
What's up, brother? I see you watching, brother.
So I'll answer it in two ways, Eric, because I don't know exactly what you meant. Okay.
That's what he's referring to, though.
So Vikings do play the Rams this Thursday night. So let me talk about that first. I would love to see Matthew Stafford do the Lions a solid and beat the Vikings. I think he's a better quarterback than Sam Darnold. However, the Rams are very beat up. And, I think it says a lot whenever Matthew Stafford's using his bye week to go on, on the Fox morning program there, Fox NFL kickoff. That to me kind of says that he's starting to kind of look at his options post football. But again, that team's very banged up in the Rams, but it would be nice to see them beat the Vikings. So I will be rooting for the Rams on Thursday night. As far as Matthew Stafford coming back to play for the Vikings, I mean, to be honest with you, I don't see that. I don't see that being the thing. I mean, they really like Sam Darnold.
There was a report out from one of them clowns that wrote that. I can't remember.
No, and I'm sure there was, because we're 2 weeks away from the trade deadline. So anybody that's on a crappy team right now is going to be rumored to do a whole bunch of different stuff. But I don't see him going to the Vikings. If he did, obviously he'd be going to a healthier team. So there's that. But again, he would still have to learn the offense. It's not like he would come in firing on all cylinders, I don't believe. I think Stafford is playing for the final team of his career in the Rams. I really do believe he's going to retire as a Ram. And I should say he'll retire as a Ram, but then he'll probably sign a one-day contract and retire as a Lion, because that's what those players, typically do. So that's kind of where I'll leave it, Bobby.
Retire for the team you won the Super Bowl with, dude. Get the fuck out.
I know you don't like Matthew Stafford, so it's kind of like a dead on arrival subject, my friend. But
not really. Please come back.
For Eric's side of it, okay. What do you think, my friend?
Well, for my brother Eric, I would love if Matthew Stafford came to play for the Vikings, because I know our secondary, all the way have to do is keep their hands ready, because it's coming. Now, as far as him learning the offense, I kind of disagree. And the only reason why I disagreed with your well articulated point, Elijah, because it was good. Matthew Stafford, whatever offense he tends to spam one receiver. So once all it takes is him to get good with one, he gonna figure out the rest, you know what I mean? So that too, but and just in numbers in general, his record against the NFC North is not nothing to be scared of. So please come back, sir.
So Eric, I hope that answers your question. My
He already know.
We do have a bunch of other people who are tuning in at this moment. So thank you for doing that. And again, please leave those comments, any questions or anything like that you want us to get to, and we will certainly do our best to answer it. So as far as the Minnesota game, a couple things that I wanted to talk about. First up, got to talk about my guy, Jahmyr Gibbs.
Woo!
Woo! I think that is worth 2 claps and a Ric Flair. Woo! All right. So Jahmyr Gibbs, he looked fantastic in that game. And thank goodness for that, because that game was interesting with David Montgomery going down and having all of Lions Nation being like, please, God, get back up. Because I know that's what I thought. Because I'm like, when they said, so this is what I did, Bobby. I don't know if you did the same thing I did or not. But when they said on the broadcast that a Lions player was down, I started looking at the players who were standing up. And I was looking for specific jersey numbers. I said, where's Panay? No, he's good. Where's Denver? No, he's good. Where's Ragnow? No, he's fine. And then I'm like, Goff is fine. Who is it? And then they said David Montgomery, and they went to commercial break, and I forget what the commercial was. I was so in panic. No. Like, it was probably a Little Caesars commercial, but I was like, no. And so I immediately went over to Twitter, now called X, and I typed in Detroit Lions, and actually I typed in David Montgomery, and then tried to find out what was going on. And of course, the reporters that were there on the sidelines were like, he was helped off the field, could barely put any pressure on that leg. And I'm saying, no. Not after these guys establishing themselves as the best 1-2 punch in football. Like, we can't be losing them right now. Again, Montgomery did end up coming back in the game, but even if he hadn't come back in the game, Jameer had that thing locked down. I mean, he was doing everything we needed him to do. Run between the tackles, outrun people to the outside, catch the ball. I mean, he had close to, I want to say, at least $150 as far as yards in total, and then
All purpose.
all purpose
purpose.
yards. And he had the 2 touchdowns. So I love that. I think that was really great to see. Amon-Ra had a good game. J-Mo,
He was balling. He was balling. He was balling.
J-Mo, who we'll talk about in a moment, you know, he didn't have a great game stats wise, but he was out there blocking.
He was definitely invested for sure.
You know? And then obviously Jared Goff, man. Jared Goff to start this season, he looked rough to start this season, but on this show, we told everybody, relax. You know, he didn't really play in the preseason. You know, I don't think he played at all in the preseason, but you know, it's going to take a minute for the offense to find their footing because they didn't play in the preseason. And what happened? After the first 2 weeks of football, he has been the best quarterback in the NFL. And now everybody is saying it. You know, it's become a conversation of Super Bowl is going to be Chiefs and the Lions. I've heard that out of more talking heads' mouths this, you know, past 3 days than I've heard it in a very long time. You know, because last year the conversation was, you know, Lions, surprise team, you know, they're young. Let's see how far this ride goes. This year, we've had those expectations since the end of last season, and now it's like all of a sudden all that love is coming back around. But Jared Goff, you know, he's playing really good football, and Terry Bradshaw was saying that Jared Goff reminds him a little bit of Tom Brady in his prime. So as far as, you know, being able to manage a game, make the players around him better, and just having that mentality that when you're down and Jared Goff has the ball, you just believe he is going to put your team in a situation to be able to win the game. So Terry
Terry Bradshaw. I like
Terry
that take,
Bradshaw saying, hey, Jared Goff, Tom Brady might be the same type of player. And so I want to go over, before we get to any of the negative stuff, I want to go over to the #1 Jared Goff supporter, Bobby Bless. Bobby, what have you seen from your quarterback, and what are you concerned about if you're concerned about anything?
Always, I'll start with the concern. I'm always concerned with the weather part of the game. Always, that's never gonna leave. But I don't know if you remember, sometime this summer I told you like the first 12 of the Lions' first 14 games was in a dome or something like that this year or something like that.
Yeah,
I think it's a byproduct of his surroundings. When weather is not an element, he tends to do better than above average. But the thing that impresses me the most about Jared Goff is his accuracy.
Yeah,
And his accuracy. Being in our football group, the real true fan, Detroit Lions fan, you know, I threw the pass. I've always had a hashtag that says accuracy matters.
Right.
And he's starting to make me look like I know what I'm talking about when it comes to that. and especially with the if I gotta add it all in, the play action, we're running the ball more, so that makes him a more viable passer. Right. And if you remember our threshold on how many times I wanted him to throw, remember I said I don't want him throwing more than 25 times?
Yeah.
He threw exactly 25 times. You feel me? So they listen. They ain't hard. Yeah, they not hard-headed. But the thing that is all that because you know when this win is hard to when you was so emotionally invested in Jared Goff and this team like I am, when they're successful, it's hard for me to find the negatives. Yeah. So I'm gonna stick to what I know, the positives, right? So the thing that impresses me the most about Jared Goff is the stat I read. Over the last 4 games, he has more touchdown passes than he does incomplete passes. That is amazing. Yeah. I don't even know if you can do that on a video game, bro. I swear.
Players have done it in a game. but not over the course of 3 games. That's a completely different ball game. And to add to what Bobby's saying, they've talked about it on the major sports talk shows. Jared Goff is in the middle of creating history in the NFL, which has been around for a very long time. So anytime you could do that and it's positive, I mean, that should be celebrated. But Jared Goff, like I said, he is at the moment playing fantastic football.
And he's not locking on to one guy. He's spreading the thing around.
Yeah.
Shit, he even trying to give it to the damn linemen the way that damn thing been going lately. So, like, I'm proud of Jared Goff for the fact, and we talked about this a million times before. Man, when that man got traded to Detroit, he could have been like, fuck it, my career over. I'm gonna just play for the money. Everybody talking about he was the bridge guy to our real guy kind of thing. And I'm just, his mentality the whole time was, no, I came here to win. When he first said it, just like Dan Campbell with them damn we bite kneecaps. It was all jokes. You feel me?
Yeah.
It was all jokes. It was the laugh and stop. People saying he ain't the right, it was all negativity. But now you look back at it, you should have been listening. You know what I mean? You should have brought your stock early. But as far as with Jared Goff, there is no question that his mindset, more than his skills, was what we were missing in the Detroit Lions quarterbacks, period, or just the whole team, honestly, because he challenged people, like even with Panay when they was talking about Dallas got stars and he said we got stars too. You feel me?
Yeah.
He always challenged them reporters, and he didn't never shy from it. Like he didn't stop and think. He just his first reaction, man, boy, fuck you. That's basically how, right? His first was actually like middle finger. So I love that inning. His confidence is refreshing, even though it was laughable at first, because dude, they sent you here to end your career. You was the toss in, and it's funny that the toss in was what saved this Lions franchise. Honestly, just how I feel.
And just to kind of, I guess, switch focus here to some of that negative stuff. And again, I don't want to spend a lot of time on the negative stuff, but we would not be, calling it right down the middle if we did not include some of the negative. So
we got this not NFL good morning football where you talk about nothing but sweet nothings.
I don't know. Like sometimes I like their takes, and other times I'm just like, what?
It's too corny, man. It's too corny. Clown. It's too corny. It's corny.
All right, so I'm gonna raise a yellow flag, not a red flag, but a yellow flag. I'm gonna raise a yellow flag on Sam Laporta. Here's the deal, folks. If you're looking at his stats, and again, stats are stats, I get it, but he had 4 catches against Los Angeles, 2 catches against Tampa Bay, 2 against Arizona, 4 against Seattle, 1 against Dallas, and 1 against Minnesota. The most yards he's got in a game this year was on the 1 catch that he got at Dallas, which was a 52-yarder, by the way, and it was a touchdown on that trick play. And that, by the way, is the only touchdown Sam Laporta has had this season. I'm raising a yellow flag because we have always talked about on this program that when you have so many weapons, somebody's going to get left out. We've talked about that. We knew that could happen. But I don't think that's the only thing that's going on here. Because I don't know if y'all have noticed, but every time Sam Laporta catches a pass and he gets up, he limps. And I don't know what's going on with that because he hasn't shown up on the injury report the last 2 weeks, but I feel like there's just something nagging him, and it's causing his numbers to plummet and his targets to plummet to a point where Ben Johnson's like, hey, like I would give you the ball more, but like we need you out there. You know, we need you almost, and I hate to say it as a decoy, but you need him out there to pull the focus of the defense, because if he's not out there, our backup tight ends are not anything like him. But it's just like, to me, it's like, man, like what is going on with him? And so, Bobby, I want to go to you on that. A, are you concerned about it? B, are you seeing the same thing that I'm seeing? And what do you make of it just in general?
Okay. A, I'm not concerned about it.
Okay.
B, I never noticed, so I'm gonna start looking now. So I'll get back to you with B next week,
Okay.
okay, brother?
All
Because
right.
I never noticed it, and I probably should have. But I'm gonna pick C, and C would be it's not his turn. If you seen, and you might like this, like if you seen how the Lions season has been going, especially on offense, it seems like every of our weapons have a game. So
Yeah.
there was a Montgomery game, there was a JMO game, there was a St. Brown game. You know what I mean? Last game was probably the Gibbs game, right?
Yeah.
So I think it's not his turn. If that's to come. Laporta's game is going to come when we need him to come through the most. So I'm not as on the outside looking in. I'm gonna say that just as my optimism shoot through. But as far as limping, I gotta really see, man, because if I didn't pay attention to it, I ain't gonna be able to process it in my mind. So,
Yeah.
but I'm so basically, Laporta, I'll be watching you.
But
I'll be
again,
watching you.
folks at home, go back and rewatch his catches from the last couple weeks, and you will notice when he gets up, he's got a little hitch in his giddy up. That's all I'm saying. And like, to me, that's a little bit concerning because he
I
ended
agree.
last season with an injury, and he was still out there doing his very best. He's a tough guy.
Yeah,
You can't question his toughness. But I'm just saying,
ornery bastard.
like, that's concerning to me because it's like, where is he? You know, because this was supposed to be, a continuation of his breakout rookie season. That was my impression of what we were going to use him for. And obviously, when you got JMO out there and things like that, that makes it a little different. So
I'm interested to see his blocking grade as far as PFF because
yeah,
he's tend to be one of the better blockers. We are one of the better running teams. Maybe his niche right now for us would be the linchpin in the blocking.
yeah,
But you know what I'm
and
saying?
and
I
him and
didn't
him
never.
blocking
I don't
him
know why
block.
you didn't put why you didn't put this shit in the chat, Elijah. So I could have been why I
No,
could have
no, you're
been
good.
did this.
But him blocking would also be less running downfield,
Right? Yeah, I
and
agree.
less
I
cutting and
agree.
things like that. So,
But if
you
you
know,
hurt, if you hurt, you hurt. If you hurt, you ain't gonna want block. Blocking is an effort thing. So if you
right.
hurt, I don't know.
We got Nate Ruckers joining us. Nate, how's it going,
Man, I'm working and stupid forgot. Wait,
man?
I'm trying
So
to find my face. Wait.
there we go. Nate, so what we're talking about at the moment, my friend, is we're talking about something I noticed with Sam Laporta. His numbers are not where they were last season, obviously. So some folks are kind of looking at that. I'm looking at that. But more importantly, I'm looking at the fact that every time this man catches the ball, when he gets up, he's limping. And me and Bobby were just talking about it, and Bobby brought up, Bobby's going to obviously pay attention to that this week whenever they play the Titans and see if he notices it as well. But Bobby was talking about maybe he's out there because his blocking is so good. And I was bringing up the fact that if they're using him to block predominantly and then kind of as a decoy in the passing game, blocking doesn't require him to cut as much like running a route would. But have you noticed him kind of struggling after he catches the ball?
Yeah, but I mean, that's one of the things I think he's just playing injured. But at the same time, everybody numbers is down, honestly. St. Brown numbers is down. I mean, Laporta numbers is down.
Because they running the ball, they ain't
Yeah,
throwing as
so
much.
right. So you're not going to get as much as what you're used to getting.
Right. And that's fair. I just, again, that's something that I kind of noticed, and I'm like, like, you can't question his toughness, and Bobby also said that, everybody on the offense has had their game. Montgomery had a game, Gibbs had a game, St. Brown had a game, JMO had one. So Bobby's kind of like, when it's time for Laporta to have one, he will have one, just kind of patient on it. And I agree with being patient. Obviously, that's something that we've always said on this show, but I just think people, when you watch Laporta catch a pass or go for a catch, kind of watch him as he's getting up off the field. Because again, I feel like there's something going on there, and I don't want to wish it, obviously, knock on wood, but it's just like that. That's a little concerning because even when we get in the red zone, like we're not even trying to get him the ball. And we can run it for 8 yards and get a touchdown, so there's that too. But like it's like, man, that was his spot to eat last season. So I don't know.
I mean, I don't want you or other people to get so wrapped up into the numbers thing. Like you have to think about it. He wasn't game plan for it last year as a rookie.
That's fair.
And majority of all tight ends now numbers aren't high because they're game plan for it.
Right.
So when you gotta think of the Lions are running a lot of 3 tight end sets. And they're doing a lot of heavy formations where now
they even had Tim Patrick out there blocking in pass pro.
So you seeing them run a lot more, bringing more guys in the block. You're seeing a lot more play action. So it's just really, I think it's just about what the defense is giving them. Like Jared Goff has been so accurate. Hell, if you open, he's getting you the ball, but that's the thing. He's just taking what the defenses are giving him.
Right.
And they're not giving him Laporta.
Yeah, so, that's fair.
And with JMO doing what he's doing, JMO running across the middle and it's got everything in the whack right now. But like you say, everybody's had a game. St. Brown numbers were down till last game. But Jared Goff is still doing what he's doing. Team still functioning. He's still keeping everybody involved. I think people, get wrapped up with the numbers and stuff, but again, we 5-1. We favored to go to the Super Bowl.
Yeah,
we kicking ass.
It's a great time. It's a great time to be a Lions fan.
Kicking ass, not worried about names.
Yeah.
So it's like, hey, step up if y'all want to. Luck if you buck. We y'all up out of here.
So let's talk about JMO. Let's get this out of the way. JMO facing a 2-game suspension. I have to word it like that because it has not been officially announced that he's going to be suspended. He's facing a 2-game suspension, which, by the way, that's weird to me. That's weird to me that, like, he knows it's coming, the team knows it's coming, and yet the NFL is like, not yet.
Yeah, they just have it.
Just announce it. Like, if you're going to do it, announce it. But for folks who don't know, what he is being suspended for is violating the performance enhancing substances policy. So that could mean a myriad of different things. It
was a pre-workout.
Okay, so you're saying it's a pre-workout.
Yes. So what happened was.
Thank you, Nate. I'm so happy, man, because I don't know what's going on.
Literally, he took some pre-workout, which had, I forgot the name of, but it just had a chemical that they flagged. Which is why he said, you know what, my bad, something I got to own up to, just get it done. Like, he's not even harping on it. Like, dude, y'all look for me for anything that I do to be a red flag. And like, dog, granted, yeah, I'm a pro, I'm still learning, but like, dog, I'm 170 pounds. I'm just taking some pre-workout. I'm not out here bench pressing. I'm not out here bulking up.
He ain't Barry Bonds.
I said that pre-show.
He ain't Barry Bonds.
I said that to Bobby. I said, man, if that guy was taking steroids, he would not be $160 soaking wet. And Bobby's like, well, steroids aren't all for that. But my point was, like, you would know.
It had nothing to do with
you
that.
Would notice if he was like, JMO is
no, it was a pre.
No, but some performance enhancers reduce swelling. If you wake up the next day without being sore, you'll be able to hit the next workout even harder.
Well, see, but you know what? But what they did was, those that has to do with the HGH. So that's where that came from, and that's big. So that's why there's like different suspensions when it comes to you got a 2-game or 4-game,
Yeah,
2,
yeah, and
4,
a sick
6,
game and a
and
ban
whatever.
a year.
Right.
Yeah, yeah.
So this is like they say, like, yeah, we found it. So we're going to have to punish you across the board, but you're only going to get a 2-game. So hey, this is a slap on the wrist letting you know, hey, pay attention to what you're doing. But it's J-Mo, everybody, certain people want to make it bigger than what it is. Oh my God, he's back to doing this, back to no, the kid's still playing football. Kid's still being a dynamic football player. He just took some pre-workout. Nothing more, nothing less.
So here's where I want to go with this, okay? And again, everybody, I would hope everybody knows by now, I'm a fan of J-Mo, okay? I like J-Mo. So keep that in mind with where I'm going next, okay? J-Mo's in his 3rd year. This is a very important year for J-Mo when it comes to trying to tell the Lions, you need to give me a big old bag of money and keep me around in your future plans. This is a critical year for J-Mo. And year 1, he came in off the injury from Alabama. We knew about that, so that doesn't really go against him. Year 2, he had that issue with the gambling thing, which again, everybody on this show, we all agree that was stupid, but that happened, right? And now you have this, which is going to be 2 games where he's going to be out. So my point is, I will be curious to see at the end of this season, do we give him the big old bag of money or not? I think he should get it because I love what I see when he's on the field. And realistically speaking, with a 17-game season, are you going to have a wide receiver play all 17 games every single year? Probably not. But again, it's just whenever you get in those negotiations, like, and I can speak on this because I'm currently in negotiations for my radio station job. You might think you and the company are on the same page and they love you, right? They love everything you bring to their company. But then all of a sudden, you get in those negotiations and they start bringing up every little thing to try to make sure that you don't get your big old bag of money or whatever type of money you make at your job. So for me, I'm just kind of looking at it like, okay, here's another thing that's going to be brought up whenever they do the negotiations for J-Mo. It's going to be, well, what about this? What about that?
I
Because
don't think so.
I mean, I hope not, but like I said, I know that's how that is in the corporate world for everybody else. And I know the NFL teams are like that as well. Like they will keep track of every little thing. Like how many times were you late late coming in the building? Were you the first person in, last person to leave? Like all that stuff matters. And now here he is with his 2nd suspension, and he's going to have another year where he doesn't play a full season. So I'm just, that's where I'm going to kind of leave it as far as my thoughts are concerned. Because like I said, I like the guy. I do not believe he's a bad character person. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying when they go to negotiations, I feel like this will be brought up as a reason to try to pay him less. Now, Nate, I know you disagree, so hit me with it.
Well, number one,
don't hit him, Nate.
First of all, we have to look at the organization. We have to look at the complete organization for which it is now being ran, and what they stand on with integrity, what they stand on with your on the field play, what they stand on with your off the field play, what they stand on, and how you are viewed throughout the community. And J-Mo has always been inside the community. His on-field play, they talk about him literally as being one of the best blockers on the team, which is crazy. When you're talking about a wide receiver who's 170 pounds soaking wet. But when you're looking at these long runs, who's the guy leading them? Who's the guy in front of these running backs? He had 2 nice ones last game. Like when J-Mo is on the field, he plays bigger than his weight. His production, the fear of J-Mo comes into the play when you're talking about his contract or whatever. Or, like you say, and even when you look at it, they can say, man, listen, the gaming thing was nitpicked. They didn't even agree with that. Now you can say, oh, okay, well, this two game. Yeah, he's still young. So now you're learning that you have to be 100% precise with the ingredients in your pre-workout so that you don't have this happen. Now, here's the thing. With any of these situations, is he pointing a finger or is he saying that me as a player, me as a young man, I need to continue to grow and I need to continue to be better, which shows a level of growth and maturity.
Right.
Which is a lot better than what everybody else does. Where it's like, oh, he did this, oh, he did that, oh, he did this. Like, no, dude, you're not paying attention. Like, you haven't seen him in the news, like this thing, and that's what I'm saying with the levels in the suspension. It's one of those like, dog, he probably wouldn't even got suspended, but because they found it like, hey, we're doing this across the board. If this one ingredient is found, regardless how much, if it's in your system, then hey, you have to get suspended, which you understand it. You like, I missed it, or I didn't see it, or man, shit, whatever. I'm rushing, trying to get my pre-workout so I can get in, get to the facility, get my training in, whatever. Like, he's a constant teammate. Like, you don't hear anything bad about him. This isn't the Lions of old when you're talking about front office wise, where they want to point fingers instead of the production that you're bringing to the field. Like, don't get me wrong, production doesn't oversee character.
Right.
But what we can say is, you look at his character, dude's always smiling. He's always, regardless of what the media throw at him, he's not doing the Marshawn Lynch. If they're trying to make him look bad, if they talking about him, it don't matter. He just say, hey, man, listen, it is something I got to do, man. I actually, look, I'm going to take it, but I'm just ready to get back on the field with my guys. He stays locked in regardless what the situation is. He's not fumbling that. And that's the Alabama kids. So whoever that does their PR in Alabama, when Nick Saban was there, all these guys have learned, hey, how to do an interview.
Let me bring up, I don't want to say an argument, because it was not an argument. I think me and Nate were
before you add that in, can I say what I got to say?
Yeah, real quick, Bobby, because I'm going to kick it back to you for more time.
Oh, go ahead then.
I just wanted to get this in.
Well, go ahead again, because I go ahead then.
Okay, so it was about a year ago, I want to say, on the show. Me and Nate, and I think Bobby hasn't ever really missed an episode, so he must have been there. I just can't remember what Bobby said on it, but I know me and Nate were in sort of agreement on this, and that was how our top two wide receivers are viewed. With Amon-Ra, right? He became a darling of Detroit, and I don't mean that in any negative way, but he became a huge player for Detroit, and he was immediately accepted and loved, and a big part of that was because he was an underdog. He was that blue collar wide receiver. He might not have blazing speed, right? But he will just outwork everybody, right? So personality-wise, storyline-wise, he matched the city of Detroit coming into everything. And so he's earned everybody's respect by just outworking everybody. J-Mo came in, and J-Mo's a different type of wide receiver. J-Mo's the guy that's got all the God-given abilities, right? And when you have somebody who has all those God-given abilities, you almost expect more from them. Because you're like, hey, don't waste the talent that the good Lord gave you. Like, get out there and do something with it. And obviously, for the first 2 years of J-Mo, when he had his opportunities, he did. But I think for a lot of Lions fans, they judge him more harshly because on a God-given ability part of it, right, he was given more to work with. Whereas Amon-Ra has had to work for everything he has earned. And again, that's no disrespect to Amon-Ra. That's no disrespect to J-Mo either. But for me, it's like, okay, because J-Mo, it's like that old Spider-Man thing, right? To whom much is given, much is expected, or bigger responsibility, however that line goes in Spider-Man.
Okay, Uncle Ben. Uncle Ben.
But you get what I'm saying though, right? Like they look at J-Mo and they're like, man, like everything J-Mo does is criticized. And I think a big reason for that again is because of his, God-given ability. And so my question to Nate, before I toss it over to Bobby, this is the second suspension. We can talk about the merit of the suspensions, and I'm here for that conversation because I agree. Again, it can be something very little, and obviously it was. Otherwise, he would have gotten a greater suspension. But he's had two of them. He's had two of them now. If he ends up getting a third before the end of this season, at that point, do you think that people are still going to care if he's the one accepting responsibility? Or at that point, are they going to say, okay, between you and Amon-Ra, Amon-Ra's never been suspended for anything. So I think people kind of look at it and they kind of put those two guys against each other. And that's not what I'm trying to do. But I'm just saying, you look at Amon-Ra, Amon-Ra got the big old bag of money because he earned that thing. And he literally has never been in trouble. But J-Mo, while he has all the God-given abilities, he keeps finding himself on that unfortunate side of things. So he serves this 2-game suspension. If it happens again, what do you think happens, Nate?
Well, again, like I'm saying, I don't want to do the hypothetical because we leave room for people to.
Yeah, and you jinxing him.
Yeah, not even just jinx, but people love to live in the negative, and they love to do the comparison where he don't deserve it because he didn't do this. Like my thing is, I never want to be the person that be like to say what a guy deserves because I'm not the guy who's going to be paying him.
Right.
Now, what I do know is that Amon-Ra was drafted in the 4th round. J-Mo was drafted in the 1st round. Amon-Ra has been a consistent worker. His production, where he's grown up, now he's a top 10 wide receiver. J-Mo's coming. We know his injury history. We know what he did, last year going into the playoffs. We know what he did beginning of this year. We know without question J-Mo is a top 5 feared wide receiver.
Mm-hmm.
We know this. I won't say top 5. We'll say top 10 because of his speed. He's a top 10 feared wide receiver. So what you do is you base him or his contract off of Amon-Ra. Now, there's no way that nobody would ever think to say that J-Mo's contract is going to be bigger than Amon-Ra's. That's not even feasible. Like I don't even think that they're not even going to be similar. We know Amon-Ra got what, 100 million?
Yeah, he got a pretty big one. He got a pretty big
contract. Right. So you're looking at Amon-Ra with 100 million. Realistically, you're talking about J-Mo's contract is going to be 30, 40 million. So that's what I'm saying. Like, there's no way that those two shouldn't even be like even thought about being together. You're talking about a guy who 100% we know was getting 100 million off of production. You don't get 100 million off of potential. So that's why I'm like, that's why I don't want to do the whole hypothetical thing or even think about it because you're talking about realistically a $60-70 million difference in contract wise.
And that's a very interesting point, Nate. I hadn't thought about it like that because I kind of just assumed that J-Mo, and maybe not J-Mo himself because I don't think he's like this, but I think J-Mo's agent is going to want J-Mo to make just as much, if not more money than Amon-Ra. And that'll be kind of interesting because, obviously he's going to say, I'm looking out for my client. But wide receivers, much like running backs, they don't get a lot of extra contracts besides that second one. So that'll be kind of interesting. Will J-Mo's agent try to get more money for J-Mo than
he wouldn't be an agent? Now, you see what I'm saying? He wouldn't be a good agent if he didn't try. But realistically, he knows what his client is worth. You're always going to push the envelope. Everything that we talk about on the show, when you're talking about the suspensions and things of that nature. This is things that his agent has already thought of.
Yeah.
So when it comes to negotiation, he's already got that at the top of the chart for what they would automatically knock off for. And be like, listen, we're going into negotiation, but I'm going to tell you, I'm going to give for every here. I'm going to, you know, all your pluses, but here's your negatives.
Right.
An agent's not going to go into this making you think that you are the best thing since sliced bread. They used to, but now they're a lot more like financial advisors. And it's like, wait a minute now, let's be logical.
I mean, I hope that's the situation, but let's make sure we get over to Bobby here. Bobby, Nate and I have been talking about J-Mo for a long time, man. I want to get you to what you want to say about J-Mo, but also the two things that me and Nate brought up, you know, the suspensions, the comparison to St. Brown, maybe J-Mo's agent wanting a lot of money for him. What are your thoughts on J-Mo? You got the floor.
Actually, what I got to say will fit right into all that, actually.
Oh, perfect.
And I actually got to say three things, honestly.
Yep.
The first thing, and it's three things, but it's point, and it's gonna be real quick. The first one is when you are ascending to another level of team in the NFL, you have more spotlights on you, right?
Yeah.
So when you have more spotlights on you, little stuff that would have been in the bottom of ESPN now is at the top of ESPN. So say 2-3 years ago, even like say if he was suspended for say if he got suspended for this last year,
right
before the even gambling, it wouldn't have been Sports Center top news or even in the rundown of what's important. So as you win, more eyes on you, so you have to do things right, you know. And a little bit more with that too is when you make plays, you become a target, not on the field, but in that NFL office, right?
Right.
So we playing America's team. He takes a slant all the way to the house, right? he putting up the deuce sign. He's celebrating at the 30. I remember watching the run, and I'm thinking to myself, damn, he is moving super fast, like fast. Like I didn't know he was that fast, like. And then he already celebrating and stunning at the 30. So stuff like that automatically gonna get you a piss cup anyway. Right. So that alone, when you start making plays in this league, you start pissing in cups a lot more. So that's just, you got to be ready for that anyway, right? And two, and it kind of coincides with you guys were saying about when it's time for him to get paid. To me personally, he's really making it cheaper for the Lions to keep him, because I don't see no one risking more on him than we would. I just don't, because we see it on the outside looking in. He making his number low, and it kind of coincides with Nate saying that him and St. Brown ain't on the same level. It is not. He is more every time he messes up, in which we don't want it to do. He's lowering the price for us to keep him. So
you agree with me then? You agree that every time something like this happens, they're making a note of it and saying,
hell yeah,
don't bring that up in negotiation.
Man, that's just business, brother. It ain't got nothing to do with nothing more than that, right? Yep. So I agree with that part. But I also agree, even at his best, we ain't giving him St. Brown money. So that's that. And the last, but certainly not least, I stole this little info nugget from my good co-worker, Mr. Bob, that works at Walmart with me. His name is Bob, ironically. And he said, he's a Raider fan. And he said, Bobby, don't give me them rich people problems. I'll throw you this name of our first round receiver, Henry Ruggs. You know who Henry Ruggs was?
Yeah.
He was the guy that killed the people drunk and driving. So he said, so you trying to tell me the problem you got with your guy is gambling, which is wrong, that they changed the rules. I said, right. And he said, performance enhancer. So that look, a 2-game suspension. So your only problem with your first round pick that you got was those two little things. Anybody would take that in a heartbeat.
Right.
Anybody would take that. You think if Jameson Williams is doing what he's doing with the Raiders or whatever, they would be more they happy than what they got the drunk driving guy? You know what I mean? So let's pump our brakes. Let's not come walking around with our ethics sticks and saying, "No, this is wrong. This is wrong." Let's thank our lucky stars that he ain't killed nobody, he ain't behind bars, and it's only 2 games. So, but that's not condoning anything that he do, because I'm a type of person, when you get paid that much money, you need to know every minute thing that comes into your body. So I'm not letting him off of that though, because I really feel that way. But I'm not going to sit here and act like he a fucking problem because he just took a pre-workout. Like, so I know there's an issue, but I don't want to say that he's not to be trusted just because of that. Right.
Right. So. And I want to be very clear. I'm not saying he's not to be trusted. I'm not saying that he's a bad guy. You know, pre-workout and gambling does not take away from the fact that he is one of the few, and I shouldn't say few because I don't know this to be true, but I remember Nate saying this at one point. He is one of those players for Detroit who doesn't actually mind spending time in Detroit.
Right, right.
Not in the prettiest of places either. Like, he'll go to places that other Lions players won't dare go because he wants to hang out with people. He wants to reach people. He wants to help the kids. You know what I mean? So, like, pre-workout and gambling doesn't take away from the free football camp he did for kids. You know,
yeah, and wasn't Henry Ruggs in this draft too?
Right? I don't remember.
I kind of want to say he is. I kind of want to say he is. So we could have picked the wrong one. But
then what you got to look at is that the bar that I work at, the Coney Island that he's at after every game, which is literally L. George's, is literally 3 minutes away from where I sit. Right where I'm sitting right now is 3 minutes away.
Now, Nate, I want to make sure I didn't speak out of pocket. Like, you did say that before, right?
Yeah.
That, like, he is one of the players that will go to parts of Detroit that like nobody else.
Yeah. Like literally. Yeah. I mean, like they were mad at him for being on the east side of Detroit and giving out. For being on the east side of Detroit, you know, and they just couldn't seem to get it. Like, why is he out on the east side? Why does he have an entourage with him? Why is he out by himself? He's a millionaire now. Blah 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 blah. It's like they look for reasons to want to have an issue with him. Like, I don't need to go anywhere and have an entourage with him.
Right.
So that's just all it is. J-Mo's is one of the people that they just love to bother right now.
But see, the only thing is though, like I was telling him, as he, like, you remember that play against Dallas, you know how fast he was moving? That's gonna draw a piss test. I swear that kind of stuff is gonna draw a piss test. So as far as like, we're in the upper echelon of the league, there's no denying that now as a fan base and as a team. Yeah. These guys, they're going to have to make sure they're not speeding. Got to make sure you're wearing your damn seatbelt, not driving, not make sure that you did. If you didn't do your homework back in 3rd grade, do it now and find the teacher and give it to them. All that kind of shit, man. Oops. Yeah. But
no, you dropped an F-bomb earlier. You can't be scared of the word shit. Like you.
No, I dropped one of my earbuds out.
Passed that.
Make a long story short, man, it comes with the territory, man. As you get to one of these good teams, there's more microscopes on you, and there's a bigger prize for catching the dirt on you guys first. So.
And I'll end my remarks by again reiterating, and I know the guys hate it when I reiterate, but like, I just want to make sure, because sometimes people half listen to the shit I say, and then they turn around and be like, he hates it. No, I don't.
I got it for you. If you don't like what Elijah had to say about it, argue with your mama.
That's right. Elijah. That's right. But again, the only thing that I bring up is there's just a very different storyline being presented. You know, Amon-Ra is that underdog who worked for everything. He was, somebody who was overlooked by all these other NFL teams. He is Detroit, right? That's how they view him. That's how they've always, put that spotlight on him. Whereas J-Mo is, here's this kid with God-given abilities. You haven't seen a wide receiver who just is naturally this fast, is naturally this good. So when you have those two people, right, the one who is naturally gifted and all this other stuff, when he messes up, people tend to run their mouths a lot more because they're like, he's wasting that natural talent that God gave him.
And some people,
and the only other thing I'll say, and I don't want to put this out there that causes more drama for J-Mo, but why, and I don't know what their habits are after the games, but why is Amon-Ra and J-Mo not tied at the hip? Why are they not working out together, going the same places together? Because I can almost bet you, okay,
They do work out together.
But if they were, Amon-Ra would have been like, brother, don't take that. Don't take that pre-workout. Do my pre-workout.
I mean that's where we go with the hypotheticals again, because like
that's
those
it. That's
guys,
his own man. He is his own man.
right? And my thing is, like, they do work out together. We don't know. Like I said, he could have got up when he got up in the morning, halfway sleep, and took his pre-workout. That don't mean that that's his guy. That, hey, I'm sleeping in this. We're spooning when we go to sleep. Like, dude,
pause. That's not what I mean. I'm just saying,
but think about it though. Think about it. Like, you're saying, hey, it's not like we don't know where he took it. If he was at the facility, at home, whatever. Again, it's a pre-workout. He's not shooting like off the program. He's not shooting up damn 100% steroids in his veins.
He ain't headbutting car windows.
Right. Right.
I understand.
Right. He ain't out here getting the tube, putting up his pee hole to change his own oil. Like,
okay, I get it. I understand. I'm just saying, and this is something you guys can look up at home. Amon-Ra and Jahmyr Gibbs, they hang out. They are tied at the hip, those two guys. In fact, so much so that Amon-Ra introduced Jahmyr to drinking a Coca-Cola, because that was something that Amon-Ra's father told him you need to do. You need to drink.
That shit worked. It worked.
Coca-Cola.
I do it at work all the time.
My thing is, and I'm not saying it don't exist, I'm just saying somebody find it. Where is the photo of him doing that with J-Mo?
I think, see,
that's all I'm saying.
Like to me, that starts a whole nother conspiracy theory. Like, oh my God, well, he did this because they don't hang out together, or oh my God, the locker room not as tight because they don't hang out together.
I'm not saying this. I'm not trying to.
What I'm saying, no, listen to me, listen. But what it does is you open up the door for a hypothetical BS and people who are overthinkers and love to think outside the box. Oh, well, them two so tight. Why them two not together? Why is there no picture of them together? Like, you see what I'm saying? Like to me, that discredits what their guys' friendship is. You don't know how close they are. So truthfully, just because like people don't know, hey, me and Bobby haven't been with each other physically, but so you won't have a picture of us together. But Bobby is my man.
Yeah.
So you see what I'm saying? So just because we don't have
somebody out, I'll cuss them out, Nate.
You see what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Just because we don't have a picture together, don't mean we're not close. Right. It don't mean that we don't talk to each other on the phone daily, every day. We have FaceTime. We have everything else. That don't mean that we're not close. So that's what I'm saying. Like, that's why I said I don't want to do the hypotheticals, because that's when you can start to manipulate the situation and make it into something that is not.
So let me go at this a different way, and then we'll move on, because we do have 2 more subjects to get in here before Bobby's got to hop off. So here's what I hope happens, I guess, because again, I'm very big on intentions. It's not my intention to start drama for J-Mo, but here's what I hope happens. I hope with this second suspension that he's facing, this 2-game suspension, I hope that Amon-Ra, being the leader that he is on this team, I hope if they weren't hanging out before, that he says, hey, come hang out with me. We need to start doing stuff together.
Yes.
Because Amon-Ra does not get in trouble for stuff like that. And if they are hanging out together, I'm sure Amon-Ra's probably already had.
Amon-Ra was raised by Mr. Universe.
But I'm just saying though,
Ain't
like,
nobody
that's
gonna.
my hope. That's my hope is
Ain't
that
nobody trying to
Amon-Ra-
hang with his exercise ass. No, you feel me?
but I'm
Ain't
just
nobody even trying to hang with him.
But I'm just saying, as a team leader,
I know what you mean. I know what you
as a
mean.
team leader and somebody who was in that room, who was in that meeting room with him every single day, I hope that he takes JMO even more under his wing than he already has. Okay. So I guess that's the positive way to spin that.
But
Going on to,
but we gotta still see how
it.
this play out. Because if they reduce it down to one game, I don't think that what the hell they suspended him for. I'm
right.
sorry.
Like you say, man,
if they-
I just don't like the hypotheticals of, you know, like I say, we don't
Yeah, I
know.
know what you mean, Nate. But I know what
Like,
Elijah
that's what
means.
I'm saying. Like, we don't know how close they are. We don't know how much they hang out. Like, you see what I'm saying? Like to me, that just leaves hypothetical stuff. Oh well, they don't do this, or maybe they don't do that. Maybe don't. Like, we don't know that. Like I'm saying, like, just because like this happens, that doesn't mean that they don't bunk together, or they don't spend the night, or they don't work out together. You
right.
see what I'm saying? We don't know that. So only thing when it comes to stuff like that, I just rather that stuff just be factual. Like, hey, this is what we know happened. That's it. We don't know if Amon-Ra was winning. We don't know none of that. This is what we know right now is that, hey, he got the suspension. Hopefully this shit don't happen again, and hopefully he's learned, what to look for and what not to look for. Because again, he is his own man. He is a young man coming from a different environment, and hopefully that he's learning from the guys that are around him.
Yeah.
So that's the only thing. That's the only thing we can say. Like, I don't want to be like, oh well, maybe he's not with Amon-Ra enough, or maybe Amon-Ra needs to hang out. We don't know how much they hang out. We don't know that. What we just want to say is that we hope that that he pays attention to the veterans on the team, and that he makes sure that don't happen again. I don't want to put the single out on one guy and be like, oh well, he needs to be with this guy more versus this guy, or whatever. Let's just hope that he gets it.
So I understand what you're saying, Nate, and I don't disagree with you. But like, if there is anybody that you would want him to hang out with, it would be Amon-Ra, correct?
No, I mean, Amon-Ra wouldn't be my favorite. Like, Amon-Ra's not my favorite guy. Like, to me, a guy to go hang out and learn from would be Penei Sewell. But again, it varies.
Okay, fair enough. So moving on here, we got two more subjects. Actually, technically three. So let's do this first one quickly. Defensive end. I'm gonna start. I think defensive end wise, my biggest question is what the hell is going on with James Houston? Man, that guy, rookie season, I thought for damn sure it was going to be him and Aiden wrecking this league for years to come. And then all of a sudden, I don't know what the hell he did, but he
On
was
him.
throwing
They got
jump.
film on him now. He ain't no surprise to nobody no more. They got film on him.
But it's not even that though. He's not even playing.
No, he was out there. He just wasn't doing shit.
I'm just saying though, like it feels like he is not in favor with this coaching staff, and I don't understand what's going on with that because I know that was a big story during the preseason as well. But that's my first thing. My second thing is it's obvious that we need help. We need help at that position. I'm not going to say we need help to reach our goals this year because I think we have a good enough team we can overcome not having a dominant defensive end. But as far as the options that were out there, obviously everybody and their brother wanted Max Crosby. That's probably not going to happen. Everybody and their brother wanted Myles Garrett. I think that's more of a possibility now that Deshaun Watson has ruptured his Achilles. I think that's more of an option because Cleveland is looking at a complete rebuild now. So they might be willing to give us Myles Garrett. I know Zadarius Smith is another name that came up. Trey Hendrickson's another name that came up. Nate, I want to go to you first. You're our resident defensive coordinator. Out of what is out there at the moment for defensive end, who do you want and who do you think is realistic? Because I mean, I think you and I both know, and so does Bobby, this management staff is not known for doing anything by the trade.
Well, this is what I know as a fact. They reached out about Zadarius Smith. They reached out about Hassan Reddick. They got the credentials as far as what the Raiders would want from Max Crosby. That's what I know for sure on them three. I didn't see anything about Trey Hendrickson. So again, you know, the Lions are a favorable team now. So these guys who didn't know didn't know the Lions were. Oh my God! Somebody just texted me through my whole train of thought off. So these guys who didn't used to want to go to the Lions all want to be a part of the Lions. They love their name dropping the Lions left and right. They want to play for Dan Campbell. They want to play for Aaron Glenn. They see it. It's the culture. So now these guys are being more vocal about, hey, if it's this and this, I would love to do this. So it's one of them where they restructured Hassan Reddick, so he's off the board.
Yep.
You could realistically go for, when you're looking at the Browns, in order to get Myles Garrett for them, you would have to throw the whole fucking ship. They're going to want more than the Raiders want from Max Crosby.
Right.
Now, what the Lions are not going to do is give away all their draft picks. As we've seen, he's built this team through the draft.
Right.
He knows how to draft. So I don't need to trade up what if picks because I hit on all my picks and the ones that y'all don't like.
Right.
So, truthfully, I think he's going to try to see what these guys can do. Ozarique's been good. He's finally been living up to the potential that I talked about when they drafted him out of Washington. Pascal's got a couple of sacks. He's been good. But as far as James Houston, like I say, it's about reps. It's about game film. And you're talking about a guy who didn't play against some of the best talent before he got drafted.
Right.
He left Miami and went to Jackson State.
Yeah.
It's not like he was with, where Aiden was at Michigan and played against premier tackles every game. Big game, playoff games, national championships. So Aiden was the pure pass rusher ready. Yeah. Where James Houston is still a work in progress. So, I don't know. People make splash appearances, but once the game film is on you, now is what do you do? How do you adapt? How do you continue to improve? If people looked at from Aiden from year one to where he is now, he's a completely different pass rusher.
Right.
He has counters for counters for counters, where as a rookie, it was just all speed and an occasional rip. Where now it's everything. It's a complete pass rush package. And that's the same thing you're going to have to deal with James Houston. But he's also a smaller defensive end.
Mm-hmm.
Outside rush linebacker. He's a smaller guy. So he's going to have to, really, really, really work. And that's all it is. You got to work. Like I seen him get a couple of snaps in, and I seen one where he got tossed.
Okay.
It happens now. It happens to the best of us. But He definitely got tossed. So, I don't know. I don't know what I've been done with trying to figure out Brad Holmes and what he does.
And again, you and I and Reggie.
Yeah,
we've said it for the last 3 years. We're like, can we get Batman his Robin? Like, can we get another defensive end with these higher draft picks? And that wasn't the direction they went. And obviously, this is worst case scenario. Nobody wants. And I will say this because I didn't say it because we didn't do a show last week. I have issue with them keeping Aiden in that game when it was 34-6. I forget the exact score. But my point is, your opponent was on the ground, bleeding and unconscious, and you kept him in there. And it's not just Aiden, it's everybody else. Just like Jared Goff stayed in the game against Dallas, I feel way too long because that game was over, and I get it. Grit and toughness is our brand. And I understand you don't know when injuries are going to happen. You can't guess that stuff. I get that too. But I also believe grit and toughness, you also got to add in protect your assets. Protect your assets. There's no reason for him to be out there. What are you gaining from that? And the worst possible scenario occurred. So I hope that in the future, when we are piss pounding an opponent that badly, you take the starters out, man. They ain't coming back. They ain't coming back. So that was the thing I was going to say last week. But
I was happy that we didn't talk about that last week and it just keep coming back. I totally 1,000% disagree with that shit. All the way. From top to bottom. Because when we were the ones getting our ass stumped out, they didn't ever take it easy on us.
Right.
Now the rabbit got the gun. Now we gotta be the good guys. No,
because we have bigger goals. Because we have bigger goals than beating the Cowboys.
No. Our goal is to play 100% for 60 damn minutes.
Exactly.
Wasn't nobody sparing us.
No
I remember
rule.
watching Thanksgiving, Tom Brady beating us by 100 motherfucking points. Wasn't nobody trying to spare us. Hell no, run it up. It's about time. It's our turn. It's our turn.
It's not about sparing the opponent. It's about saving your guys for what your mission is. Your mission is to win.
It's about a mentality. It's not all of the.
You dominated them.
No.
They weren't coming back.
Listen, let me tell you something, Elijah. If he did what he did against the Cowboys, against the 49ers, we would have been in the Super Bowl, probably champions. So I don't want to hear that shit.
Right.
I don't want to hear that shit.
That game, I would have completely understood because it's a playoff game. This is a game that you already won.
That you said the offense wasn't clicking. The offense wasn't clicking. You can't have it both ways, Elijah. You can't say they didn't practice. No, you can't say they didn't play enough in preseason and then say they need to take them off the field in the regular season. You can't have them both.
Listen.
If Jared Goff would have went out there, somebody knock on wood.
They always hurt. They either always hurt or suspended.
Jared Goff would have got out there and got hurt in that game, like Aiden did. I mean, we saw it last night with the Buccaneers.
So are you blaming Dan Campbell for Aiden injury?
I'm saying we could have been a lot smarter about that.
That's just that. No. Yes or no? Are you blaming Dan Campbell?
Yes.
You are.
Yes, because a head coach
Aiden Hutchinson need to play with a flag. Then he need to play flag.
A head coach has a responsibility to protect their assets.
No.
They've been pissing on you for all year. Now we got the gun.
No. Elijah, we're not about to. Nope. We're not about to.
I'm so glad. I was happy we didn't talk about
because
that.
Listen. At the end of the day, you talk about playing from beginning to the end, from the beginning of the whistle to the end of the whistle. When Aiden Hutchinson injury happened, it was in the third quarter. Granted, the Lions have not the offense. Yeah, you could say we had the game up, but when in the game of football, if you do not make sure that you play to the whistle and play to when these guys are defeated, you have carryovers.
It's been time Dallas ran the score up on us.
But listen, I'm not even talking about that. It's just the point that we always talk about. Why don't they keep the pedal on the metal? Why don't they continually make sure these guys are crushed to where they don't want to play? But here's the thing. When that injury happened, was Dallas starters still in the game?
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
Were they going to come back, though? Were they going to come back? No,
but listen.
Did they have any chance of coming back?
Man, we always say that and they come back.
It doesn't matter. The starters on the other team, you were down by 30, and you were still in the game. So out of respect for you, no, I'm not going to put these bench guys in here to give y'all some type of momentum.
Got to help them.
Keeping your starters in So guess what? I'm going to keep my starters in so that we can complete this game and complete our dominance.
Aiden Hutchinson got hurt doing what he do, sacking the
Right.
quarterback.
Like,
So it don't.
to me,
Yeah.
Aiden Hutchinson could have got hurt in the first quarter on the first play, and then you're like, oh well.
I literally said that. I literally said you don't know when injuries are gonna happen.
Right. So that's what I'm saying. But that's why you can't.
But my point is, as somebody who has coached before, my point is you protect your assets because it's not about beating the Cowboys by 40. It's about winning the Super Bowl in February.
So listen.
That's what it's about.
Put the backups in to get hurt. Put the backups in to get hurt.
No. So wait a minute. In that case, when you're up by 14 and it's 6 minutes left, you should pull all your starters out.
No,
it's up by 30. Not by two scores.
But at any time. Up by 30 at any time. Anytime up by 30. Anytime up by 30.
No, in that specific situation, it's
was it the fourth quarter?
No, it wasn't the fourth quarter. But even look at that though. We didn't. It was like midway through the fourth quarter before he took Jared Goff off the field.
Good.
Okay.
Good. But guess what? Here's the thing.
You live.
Listen. Here's the crazy part. When did Dak come out the game? Did Jared Goff come out first, or did Dak Prescott come out first?
Why is it our job to help them stop us from scoring? Why we gotta help them stop us?
Bobby, you're not even hearing me, brother. It has nothing to do with them.
The take is horrible from the start to the end, man.
Or anybody else. It's got nothing to do with any of the 31 other teams. What it has to do with is the Lions and where we want to be at the end of the season. Because at the end of the season, we want to be holding up the trophy. And in order to do that, you need your star players. That's all I'm saying. I'm not saying that we should let them back in the game. I'm not saying that we should take the pedal off the metal. The way that
what are you saying? Because the stuff you're saying, that's what's going to happen. That's going to happen. Doing it your way is taking the foot off the pedal.
Our backups would have put 21 on them.
No, shit. Now you prognosticating.
No,
all I know is
I'm not because they were sorry in that game.
Listen. That's what I'm saying. Like,
I knew this was. I didn't never want to talk about this, man, because I thought this shit was stupid, man.
Hey, because this is my thing.
That's fine. We're not going to agree on everything. I get that.
Man.
All right, now listen. I'm going to tell you the true level of disrespect. Being a professional guy, being a guy who's played on many different levels. The disrespect is that you take guys out and you put backups in there before fourth quarter, then none of that. Like, dog, that's complete disrespectful because I'm that poor of a player. That is one of the biggest levels of disrespect. So guess what? I'm going to respect you by keeping my guys in here until you pull yours. When you pour your guys out, guess what? We'll start to pull ours. That's like the NBA. Like, guess what? If I'm up, my guys don't go dunk the ball, regardless. If I'm up by 40, we're not even going to take a shot.
Fair enough. But what do we do though? We can't dunk because it's the NFL, but we can throw it to the lineman. We can line the lineman up at wide receiver, which is the shit we were doing in that game.
But hold on, let me get him. Hold on, I got one for that.
I got one for that. It was all about disrespect. It was about being against Dan Campbell's former team. Let's shove it down their throats. Let's be disrespectful towards them. My point is,
I don't care if it's because my mom and my dad run that shit up.
No. Here's the thing.
It matters about them. It matters about our goals.
Did you see the interview? They all said these were plays that they have been working on since last year. This isn't just something, hey, we're going to try this. It could have been, but for us to get this shit in, yes, we're going to be petty because y'all robbed us. So I'm going to make sure my guys are reporting. I'm going to line my guys out at wide receiver as an offensive lineman. Because guess what? It's still a copycat league. And we've seen every week, every time we do a play, another team literally runs it the very next week.
Right. No,
when we did the throwback to Jared Goff for a touchdown, these bums tried to do it against us.
No, I understand that. I understand that.
Like, but this is what I'm saying. So that there is a level of disrespect. How you gonna try to throw my play on me that I just did?
Right. I get that. I get that. Again,
So again, there is no. If you wait until the other side has conceded defeat, because this is what these guys do. This is these guys are still playing for contracts. It don't matter if we up by whatever. These guys still playing for their contract. They're still playing for their stats. They're still playing for whatever. So if you're losing, the moment you concede defeat is the moment when you pull your starters. And when you pull your starters, guess what? I acknowledge your defeat. I'm going to start to pull my guys out as well.
I'll end it on this because I know we're not going to agree on this, okay? And we still got to talk about the Titans and get score predictions. A few years ago, Tua was playing for Alabama. Alabama was playing a team that had no business playing Alabama. Alabama got up by a bunch of touchdowns. Tua remained in the game. On a play that Tua did not need to be in there for, he broke his hip. Nick Saban, after all of that, go look it up. He admitted.
I watched the game.
He admitted Tua should not have been in there. Game was already over. And that's what I'm saying. I understand the grittiness. I understand.
And you picked the wrong person because Nick Saban runs it up every week.
Every week.
But
in that situation.
But guess what? He has done it. Guess what? Before he retired, you also know every week, right? You do know he did that again.
I understand that. But what I'm saying is, in that situation, he admitted Tua should not have been in there.
But what I'm saying is he admitted it in that situation.
And
but
did it again.
In another game, he did the exact same thing. So just because you admit it, don't mean that that's going to change your way of coaching.
My point is, Dan Campbell learned how to kick field goals. I hope at some point Dan Campbell learns that a game against the Cowboys that you've already defeated them, it's not the BCS system. It's not based off of fucking points. Take your starters out of the game, get the other guys in there, win the dang thing, and keep it moving, because I don't give a crap about respecting Dallas.
If he got hurt sacking the quarterback, he's going to get hurt anytime then. Because that's what we pay him to do.
Argument. That wasn't my argument. My argument was not, an injury can happen at any point in time. That was not my argument. My argument was the game was already won. Why is he still in there? And furthermore, Jared Goff, you going to keep him in there after that happens? Why? That makes no logical sense other than I want to flex on these guys. Okay, I guess do that. That don't matter.
I'm tired of getting the boot. Motherfucker, we doing the boot this time.
That's the mentality. Believe me, I that's the mentality. But I'm just saying.
I've seen so many leads get blown and we should have did this and no. Stump their ass out.
I don't think that's what would have happened on that day. I believe the Lions had that thing sewed up. And we did. We ended up winning that game. 47.
I thought we had it sold up in San Francisco.
That's different. That's a playoff game.
No, it ain't different.
It is different. That's a playoff game. That's when
you practice how you play. You play how you practice, right? You play how you practice, right?
Respectfully, I disagree with where you're trying to.
That is the worst take you have ever had. The worst.
Okay, that's
because
if that's how you feel, I can't change.
That is the worst take because, man, me being a Lions fan all my life, and I done seen the motherfuckers running up on us. Don't wait till we got the gun and want to be the bigger person. Fuck that shit.
If we get up by a bunch and Jared Goff gets hurt this season, I want you to come right back to this.
Hey, it does. But see, here's the problem though. Whenever Jared Goff gets hurt, I'm gonna be mad. So what do it matter when do you get hurt?
No. I'm
whenever he gets hurt.
I'm saying if we get up by a lot and they keep that man in there because they're trying to prove a fucking point.
I'm a blame Campbell.
And he gets injured.
And I'm a blame Campbell.
I want you to come back to this episode.
Am I gonna blame Campbell though?
That's
Or I'm just gonna blame,
you.
or I'm gonna
That's
just
up to
blame his
you.
football.
That's
Because
up to
my problem is that you're blaming the coaches. What the
because,
fuck?
because it's the coach's decision to keep him in the game.
Man, run that shit up, sweep the leg. It's our turn.
Like
we
I
not
said,
we not making it easier for nobody else, man.
God forbid
I
anything
didn't seen enough games in my
God,
41 years on earth where we the ones getting beat the fuck up, and then now we got the gun. Now let's be the bigger person. Now let's do finish their ass off.
it ain't
And
it ain't about
if
being
Aiden
the
Hurts,
bigger person.
if Hutchinson get hurt, if Goff get hurt, it's gonna be the next man up, whether how I feel or not. It don't even matter how I feel.
It's not about being the bigger person. It's about protecting your assets and protecting your goals and your mission. And your mission is not about beating the Cowboys by 60.
But my mindset is
what
the coach is running with, though. I agree with what he's doing. I'm not saying that like any play, everybody get like people get hurt without even getting hit. So eventually, he playing football, he's going to get hurt because. Just because he took him out then don't mean he wasn't gonna get hurt this week. He gonna get hurt. He play football.
And when injuries happen is not my point, Bobby. And that's why you and I are not gonna agree.
Yeah, because
you are thinking I'm saying one thing and I'm not.
Man, you being too passive. It's soft. This team ain't soft, so you can't ask him to do soft stuff.
No, I'm asking him to do smart stuff.
No, that's soft. That's soft to me. That's the opposite of gritty.
Just like I asked them after last season, learn how to kick a fucking field goal.
Okay.
It's the same shit here.
Yeah, that's not the same.
Learn how to protect your assets.
It's not the same.
That's all.
It's not the same.
That's
not the same. It's not the same.
It's not the same. It's not.
Oh, you on the phone? You got somebody stepping in for you, Nate? You got sick of this shit too, huh?
So, Tennessee Titans this Sunday. Bobby,
who's your favorite football team?
Kansas City Chiefs.
Oh, you can't be on my podcast. We already
He did not run a proper background check before he putting people on the broadcast.
I had to lift the phone up that high.
Damn, Nate. Damn. Anyway, Bobby, Titans this Sunday because I know we got to keep going.
100 to nothing, and then I hope Campbell punched the coach.
Okay, fair enough.
I want extreme pain.
Nate,
100 to nothing, Campbell punched the coach.
Nate, Titans and Lions, what do you got?
Say that one more time, Elijah.
Titans and Lions, what do you got?
Lions by 30.
Okay. For me, I got Titans. I have the Lions obviously beating the Titans, but I got Lions beating the Titans. I agree with what Nate's saying. I wish it was what Bobby was saying. I mean, 100 to nothing would be amazing, but I'm gonna say conservatively, 42-14. I think Lions win this game going away. And again, much like how Dan Campbell has suddenly learned how to kick field goals, I just hope we get up by enough points where there ain't no way in hell they're coming back against Brian Branch and that defense.
You don't want the Lions players to pick up the Tennessee players after they knock them down, help them up.
I mean, sportsmanship, but I mean,
okay.
I guess it just depends on what the score is.
Yeah, you want to help them up and shit.
You never know.
Apologize for hitting them.
You never know when injuries are going to happen. Nobody can ever predict that. Okay. I wasn't trying to predict that. I'm just saying our mission is a Super Bowl in February, not how badly did we beat the Cowboys. Like if that
don't sound like a grit to me.
If that is the highlight of our season is how bad we beat the Cowboys, then we fucking failed. That's how I'm looking at it.
Okay.
So with that being said, let's go to closing remarks.
Out of the game. Please stay with the grit. Don't be soft, Lions. Don't let me down.
Nate, closing remarks, my friend.
Oh,
he's here. He's just muted.
Oh,
yeah. I have a couple of customers. I'm good. Closing remarks is let's just continue to just keep the team moving focused. I love Dan Campbell. All the guys playing their hearts out. Ain't no egos in that room. And just keep it simple. Next man up, one game at a time. And Love in addition to Tim Patrick. There
All
you go.
Closing remarks from me. I would just say again, hey, I appreciate Nate and Bobby being on the broadcast tonight. We missed having Reggie. We're hoping to get Reggie back here either next week or the week after. And we appreciate everybody that left comments. I know, look, the take that I had at the end there, a lot of people didn't like in the comment section. That's fine. We're not going to agree on
what? It's more than just me.
It is more than just you, Bobby. That's for sure.
Oh my God.
But again,
let me go look at these comments before they disappear.
what are you talking about? You make it sound like I'm deleting them. I'm not deleting them. But
no, I said before they disappear. We know the protocol, man. We know it ain't you.
Like I said, we're not going to agree on everything. I think we can all agree on one thing, though, and that is at the end of this season, we fully expect the Lions to be the ones hosting that trophy. And again, my whole thing is you got to be healthy in order to do that. You got to be healthy in order to host that trophy at the end of the year, or I should say hoist that trophy at the end of the year. Because if you're not healthy, we've seen that before. We've seen teams be hot all season long and then get banged up, and again, to me, the highlight of the season is not beating Dallas by 30.
I don't know why you think that's mine.
Super Bowl. So we'll see what happens.
Finish them off. That's what I'm saying. That ain't my highlight.
With that being said, be good to your